Hi guys, so before I start this build I'd like to make an apology. In the last video I had made a bit of a mess up with describing the screws. We had 36.7, which was three 1.6 by 4mm KM screws, and 36.9, three 1.6 by 3mm screws. The PM screws is a brand new screw that we've not had before. But we have had the 1.6 km screws before. If I'd have bothered looking through my old screws, I could have taken a 1.6 by 4 km. If I took one out of the pot, I would have seen instantly that that was a countersunk screw. Obviously you can't see it from here, but I can see that that's a countersunk screw. So I've not checked my work because the part went in absolutely fine and I'm happy with the result. But if you have the wrong screw because of the way that I've done the video, please accept my apology. I really am sorry. So yeah, compare your screws with the screws you've already got, and that can sometimes help.
For those who fought in the Battle of Britain, it was a battle for survival. For the free world, it was a breathless moment in history. For failure would have plunged mankind into a new dark age. Never have so many owed so much to so few.
So welcome to issue 37 of Build the Spitfire Mk1a, and we will be assembling and fitting the left aileron. Please correct me if I've pronounced that incorrectly. So let's do a parts check as we always do. Part 37.1 is the left aileron upper panel, and we know it's this one because it's got this camouflage pattern. Piece number 2 is the left aileron lower panel, and this is the colour of the underside of the wing. Well, it's the colour of one of the underside of the wing. I'll explain that later. And we've got this beautiful detail there as well, which I really do like. So piece number 3, now parts 3 and 4 look the same, they are different. Part number 3 is a left aileron hinge marked 1, and I can see this because although it wasn't obvious in the packet, I could see the one that was marked 2. So there you go, it's got a number 1 on it. And then piece number 4 is a left aileron left aileron hinge marked 2, and there we see it's got a number 2 on it. And then we have, oh, it's in a bag, we have 2 hinge pins. Now these are very small. Let me compare them to the something small. So there's the edge of my surgical cutting blade, so we can see how small they are. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to cut the bag, but I'm going to leave them in the bag. That way they can't roll off. And then that leaves us with 5 PB 1.7 by 3mm screws, of which 1 is spare. And again, I'm going to cut the bag. Actually, on second thoughts, I'm going to pop the screws into the container there, and then I could actually pop the hinges into the other part of the packaging. I like to try and make use of the packaging where I can. You see there that I've just knocked the packaging, but it's all okay because it knocked it into the packaging. Right, so without further ado, let's begin some building. So bear with me a sec, I am following the magazine. So first we need to take pin 3, 37.3. Now 37.3 is the one that is marked with a 1. So take the pin, and yes, that's the one that's marked with a 1. Focus. Don't think we're going to get any focus today. I think it's trying to focus in on my hand. So if we give it, there we go. There we go, it's got one on it. Alright, so we're going to take one of these hinge pins, and there are no spares, so don't drop them. And what we're going to do is with the, don't think it actually matters, but with this, the number pointing away from us, we're just going to pop that pin into there. And that is actually quite a stiff fit ish. Oh, it's now gone really loose. So that's that pin done. So I'm going to place that down there like that, because stage 2 is to do it again with the second one. So we're going to get our hinge pin, and we're going to pop that into the middle there. See, there's a little hole there. Now both of these parts appear to be made of metal, so they've got some strength to them, and I'm going to place that one down there like so as well. It's fallen out a little bit, but I think that will all work itself out. So we want piece 37.1 next for stage 3, and they're showing us a green piece, which obviously the difference is you can't tell which is which. However, we know that A37.1 is the camouflage piece, and secondly we have a hole there, the letter L, and some detailing there. Whereas if you had the wrong piece, to find that L, it doesn't look anything the same, as you can see. So this is the correct piece, and what we're doing is we're taking, this is slightly confusing now, we're taking the second hinge that we've done, and with the number up, the number 2, we're placing that onto there. Now what we need to do is just adjust this pin now so it's roughly in the center, and there we go, that's in there fine. Now we have a bit of a problem, because we need that pin to stay in there, which that does. If you lay this on the ground, that will stay there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to repeat the process with the other hinge. So there we have the number 1 pointing upwards, and that's going to go into the second one, and that's a little bit off center, and there we go, and that will just lay on there quite nicely. So the next stage is we want to take piece number 2, and we're looking at these locating holes, and they want to these locating holes there, I do apologize, they want to line up there, there, there and there. And these two are actually kind of a plug, so these will go into that, and hold it about 90 degrees so you can see where the plugs actually are. And then whoops, I've just knocked that, so we'll make sure that's in correctly, and we'll place that in there. We can also place it in by feel, and that doesn't look right to me, but as we bring these together I can see that is right. Now what I'm going to do here, it says check how the aileron fits. There are 6 pegs, so let me just do that again, and that's interesting. That is interesting. Okay, I was expecting some kind of screw mechanism. I didn't know where the screws were going to go, so let me just repeat that so I can show you. So the 6 pegs that we have is there, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 there, the last 2 being there, and it's actually a reasonable push fit connection, so I'm fairly pleased with that. So it's not the best glue. Right, there we go. So that you may not need the glue, but they are recommending to put glue in. So I'm going to glue that actually. So what we'll do is we'll get our glue, our waste pot, sorry, and I actually have some glue ready. Now I'm going to glue these pegs because these ones have got the hinges on them, and if I knock this I could knock everything out. So a little bit of glue on that one, a little bit of glue on that one. You only need to put a glue just on the very end, and if you put a fairly reasonable dollop, what will happen is as you push them on, it will push that glue down the hole a little bit. And don't forget, this is all going to be on the inside. So what's very important is you need to work quick enough that the glue won't set, and you also need to get it in first go. And there we go, that's gone straight in. So I quite like this little detail along here, that's quite nice. You see that jaggedy edges. So you can hold that together, you can clamp it together, or you could actually apply a piece of masking tape. I think just holding it together has worked rather well for me. So let's just, I'm lightly going to try and just remove this. Yeah. So, but it's not actually coming apart where the pegs are. That one is. So this piece actually goes together really well. That's fine. This piece I've got a bit of a problem with. So what I'm going to do, I've just dropped my gel stick on the cutting mat, so I'm just going to apply a little bit extra glue there, not so much that it will show. Just hold that together for a few seconds, and no, that's stuck. I'm happy with that fit. Yeah, okay, it's stuck along there, so I'm happy with that. So there we have a moving flap. So you can see that once that's attached, that will move up and down. So for the next stage, I'm going to have to bring in the model, which I will do so in a second. Okay, so I brought in the model now, and I have focused it more towards the left because we are working on the left, so you don't really need to see the right wing at the moment. And what's going to happen is try to find the there we are. It's actually not even far enough. Why am I thinking that? Right, so on the end of the wing, if you can see here, there's two holes, and then there's two holes there as well. That's where this is going to go. So with the camouflage side up, we can see, I'm just going to change the, there we go. So this is going to go onto there like so, and we'll screw those in. Now I don't think that's going to stay there very well. We've only got to knock it and it's going to fall off. So I'm going to run to my trusty masking tape, and I'm going to pull two strips off, and we're going to use this masking tape as a third or possibly a fourth hand. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to tape that to the wing, and then I'm going to place another piece of masking tape away from the screw holes, like so, and then that will hold. See there, now if I give it a gentle knock, it's not going to fall off. This is very ugly, but it doesn't need to be pretty. And then what we need to do is we need to take 4 PM screws. The exact spec of the screws are, sorry, bear with me, PB, sorry, that's interesting. So it says in the magazine PM by 2, but the actual screws that they've supplied us, it says PB 1.7 by 3 mil screws, and we are screwing this into the plastic inner wing. So I would suggest the description is correct, but the magazine instructions are actually incorrect. So I'm going to work on this. I don't know how I'm going to work on it. Let's do this outside one first, and I'm just going to pop that in just enough to bite, and then I'm going to take my second screw and I'm going to pop that one in just enough to bite. There we go. And then I'm going to take my third screw, I'm going to go back to the first one next door to it, and let's see if that goes in fine. Yes, it does. So that's in enough to bite. And then finally the fourth screw, there we go. So they're all in. So let's remove the masking tape, because this is now held in place, and I don't think I needed that much masking tape, did I? Right, so check our fit. Everything looks like it's in place properly. So what we can do now is we can proceed now and screw down this as far as it wants to go. Remember, we're screwing into plastic, so we will let the screw tell us when to stop. And I am supporting this wing from underneath, because obviously if I push too hard on that, you see what's going to happen. So there we go. So let's just check the fit on those. Right, there's a little bit of flex there because of the inner wing, but it's actually connected to the inner wing really well. So this is quite interesting now, because see, that's obviously very flappy there, just gravity, but I can see if I lift this up, there's a hole there, and I can see a channel along there. So I would suspect that these will be controlled by a motor or a servo somewhere along here, which will have a big rod going across there, which looks like it's going to fit into there perfectly, and then that will obviously control the aileron. So and also we can see that a bit more depth is going to be added. Sorry, I'm off camera there. So we can see that some more depth is going to be added to the wing, because where this comes, we're obviously, when we do the top skin, that's going to come to there, and it's going to wrap round underneath, and then obviously it will come to there. So it's quite interesting, because in the Facebook group, I remember someone saying that the wing wasn't big enough, and when it was this big, yes, that is correct. But now we've added a bit more length to it, and also we've added a bit more depth to it. There's also one other discussion in the Facebook group, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this well, and that is this. As you can see, the colour of the aileron does not match the colour of the wing, and that is actually totally legit. What you have to remember is there was a war going on when this was painted. A lot of, from what I've been told, is a lot of these colour instructions were sent down by telephone, and it was all to do with interpretation. So you may have interpreted it as one black wing, one white wing. You might have interpreted it as all white, all black. Some people may have interpreted it that way. These are all official colours, and don't forget also that it is possible that when the research done on this particular one, this may actually have been, for example, it might have been black and it might have been shot at, so it needed to be replaced, and the only part they had was this colour. They're not going to go, oh yeah, well, we can't send that aeroplane up because it hasn't been painted. They would just slap it on, get it up in the air. I did watch a video somewhere. It was actually about Lancasters, but I'd imagine the same applies to Spitfires. A normal Lancaster engine would take, I believe, a week, maybe 2 weeks to replace. During the war, when bombing and that was at its highest, that was actually reduced down to overnight. Lancaster would come back from a mission, maybe it needed an engine replaced. That that Lancaster was expected to be up and running the very next day, and obviously the same would apply for Spitfires. So if you can see that, you may think this is the incorrect colour. This is actually the correct colour, and you know that I will criticise Hachette as much as the next person, but actually in this particular case it's correct. So I shall waffle on no more. I have gone on for quite a long time, but I thank you for watching. I'm looking forward to when we do more work to this, because with the wheels moving up and down and the ailerons, it's quite exciting times. I've also noticed, let me just move this carefully, I've actually noticed a channel here, and then there's some channels here, there's more bits, screw holes there. I think there's an awful lot going to be going on with these wings, and I think we may be working on these wings for a very long time, and there's going to be so much going on. I can see that there's like a little circle clippy bit there. Maybe that's just to clip wires down, but as you can see, there's so many potential screw holes here that haven't got anything in. I would not be surprised if this doesn't actually grow in length for many weeks. Remember, we're only up to issue 37. There's another 63 weeks until the Spitfire is complete, and another 20 before the dioramas are complete. So there's an awful lot to go on. So with that in mind, please join me next week when I'll be doing issue 38. Now issue 38 will be the same thing as this week, except that we'll be doing it on this side. So I look forward to that, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.